All right, listen up. You want to know how to make sure that your care provider will tell on themselves before you invest a lot of time and energy and months of your pregnancy? Because remember, you're on a timeline, you're on a deadline here. You only have a certain amount of months to get this right. And then if you're at the end of your pregnancy and you find out that your care provider is not who they said they were at the beginning, and they're pushing you into induction or into a C-section, especially if you were trying for a VBAC, this is how you avoid that nightmare, okay? It's called getting them to tell on themselves. And I talked about this before, but I also mentioned earlier today how you have to treat the interview process like a first date. And you need to recognize that the relationship with your care provider, you gotta treat that the same way as you're trying to treat a regular relationship. Like, you're not gonna want to go and hire someone who's gonna support you during the most important day of your life and get it wrong. Like, that's like marrying a man that you thought was gonna be everything you wanted, and then you find out, actually, you just signed a contract to stay with someone, and it's harder to get out of that once you sign on the dotted line. So don't sign on the dotted line. Don't hire that care provider who is going to bait and switch you later. How do you get them to tell on you? Well, this is the same thing as if you were going on a first date with someone or a couple of dates with them to see if they're even worth it. SkyTrain's going by right now. So you need to recognize one thing. People will not tell on themselves as long as you are pleasing them. As long as you're doing what they want you to do, guess what? They're going to act as sweet as pie. They are going to act so nice. And I hear this quite often, where people are like, oh, but my doctor's so nice, I don't want to leave them. Well, are they going to be so nice if you suddenly tell them, guess what, I'm not going to do that test? Because that's the real litmus test to how nice they are. Same thing when you're dating someone who is super nice and, oh, he spoils you, but maybe, just maybe, that time that you didn't do exactly as he expected, he blew up at you and he punched a wall. Maybe that continues and he's so nice all the other times, but the second you do something that's not in his control, it's not what he wants, that's when he's mean. Guess what? We have a birth trauma rate that is climbing into 50%. There is talk of obstetric violence. In fact, one of my former mentors and friends that I had connected with way back when I was an advocate of improving birth, Kristen Piscucci of Birth Monopoly, just co-authored a paper, a journal, for like an article for the journals for medicine, and she basically said about how nurses being bystanders to obstetric violence. I forget the exact name of it, but go follow Birth Monopoly and check her out. Anyway, the thing is, though, is that as long as you're pleasing those care providers, of course they're going to be nice to you. You're doing what they want you to do. You're following the tests. You're following their checklists. You are pleasing them. You are being the people pleaser. But there's going to be a point when you get to the end of your pregnancy and they say, okay, so we're going to schedule your induction for next week because you're not seeming to show any signs of having this baby. And there's really no point for you to stay pregnant. And you're suddenly going to feel that they're a lot less nice. And you're going to start to wonder, what the frick have I done? It's too late now. How do I convince my care provider to let me do what I want? Well, guess what? You can avoid all of that by having them tell on themselves on that first interview. Want to know how to do it? Simple. You displease them. Right out the gate, you state exactly what you want. You say, I want to have a completely hands-off birth. I'll call you in as I need you, but ultimately I've decided that I'm declining this test, this test, this test, this test. I'm probably not going to go to every single appointment that's on the thing. That doesn't seem right for me. I'm probably going to decline this. When I get to the hospital, I'm choosing not to have this, I'm not to have this, and this is what I want. Most people wait until the end of pregnancy to write their birth plan. I'm telling you, write it at the beginning and then walk in with it and be like, how are you going to support me? And then watch them. Watch how they get all uncomfortable. Watch how they try to sit with it. Watch how they try to work through their ego. It's just like if you said to a man that you were dating, I'm sorry, but it doesn't really work for me for you to show up late. So next time you do that, I'm sorry, but that's not going to work for me. And I deserve better than that. And I like spending time with you. I want this to work out, but your behavior is just not working for me. And we need to change that. And if they want to be with you, they would treat you better. But there's the other one of, oh, well, you're just high maintenance, and they try to make you feel bad, make you look bad, and if that's your first relationship, you don't know any better. And then you think, oh, maybe I am being high maintenance. Maybe I am being unreasonable by telling my care provider how to do their job. Because, I mean, they've been delivering babies for 20 years, and I'm just having my first one, or this is my second one, and it didn't go well the first time, so maybe I don't know everything, and you start to doubt yourself. Don't do that. Don't do that. Treat it like an interview. Treat it like a date. You've got no investment in it yet. You've got no ties to this care provider yet. It is perfect. That is the time you displease them. Not when you're trying to risk a relationship that you've already built up, because then the stakes are so much higher. And when you're pregnant, you don't have a lot of time to go and search for somebody new. All right, so that's what I have for you, and I will see you soon. It's getting noisy and hot, and I'm going home. But I got my nails done, and they're so shiny, and I'm happy. Love you. Bye.